Hello and welcome back. I apologize for how long it has been between my two videos, but there has been some happy news in the Fortier household that came with some bad news and then some more bad news, but we got a new dog and his name is Waldo and he's most excellent. But then it turned out, poor Waldo, we found out he got shot in the face. So we've been dealing, and this was before we got him. So we've been dealing with that. So that's taken me away from doing videos. And then the other sad news is one of our dogs got really old, got cancer, and so we had to put that dog to sleep. So I've been very preoccupied with my doggy adventures in this world. But Waldo is doing fine with his bullets in his nose and in his body. So far, so good. No problems with that. Bear, his passing, we have mourned it. We are moving forward. And so now I am back full steam ahead doing videos again. And today's episode is going to be about mindfulness. So anybody who follows me on Instagram has to know how much I love DBT. I love DBT. The DBT, what that stands for, is dialectical behavioral therapy. And it was originally made by Marsha Linehan, and it was made specifically for people that could be diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And so with that, she made this whole therapy to reduce cutting behaviors, mood dysregulation, difficult to get along with other people, and being able to stay in the moment. That oftentimes the emotions were all over the place. And if that doesn't sound like a whole bunch of ex-inmates, I don't know what does. So I taught a lot of DBT in the prison system. And out here, I also teach a lot of DBT. I do a DBT skills group, and I do individual DBT. Like I said, I love DBT. So today I'm going to talk about one aspect of DBT and a little part of it to get some skills underneath your belt, so that way you can learn mindfulness, or a little part of mindfulness. So what mindfulness is, it is our ability to stay in this present moment. It's not to go into tomorrow. It is not to live in yesterday, but it is to be able to stay in this present moment as it is, with our eyes wide open, neither pushing away this moment nor holding this moment, but allowing this moment to simply exist. And so the reason that we have mindfulness and that we practice mindfulness is to reduce our feelings of anxiety and depression. And it allows us to participate fully in our lives. If we're always seeking to get rid of feelings, to get rid of our experiences, we're not living fully. We're often living in the past and we're living in the future. And neither one of those places allow us to contend with and deal with now. So mindfulness with DBT, there's two different parts of it. One of the first parts is what we do when we're being mindful. The other part is how we do it. And so today I'm going to go over the first three of what we do to be mindful. And I have my little notes here, so I will be referring to them. So that way I make sure that I get everything that I'm supposed to get. While I know it inside and out, I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. Because, like I said, love DBT. Think it's incredibly helpful. So let's get started. The first what skill that we are going to learn for mindfulness is called the observe skill. What we are doing when we are using the observe skill is we are only noticing everything that is going on around us. We are not pushing anything away. We are not holding on to anything. So what that looks like when we're doing our observe skill is we are noticing the sensations that we feel. We're noticing the sights that we observe, the sounds that we hear, the feelings that we feel, the internal feelings that we feel. We will notice and we will observe the way that our emotions feel, the way that our physical feelings feel, everything around us. Now, when we're using the observe mindfulness skill, we are not giving labels to anything. All we are doing is being able to go and pay attention to what's going on inside of us and what's going on around us. When we're doing the observe skill, we need to be paying attention to everything that's occurring in our environment. And when we're doing that, we're neither pushing away any observations that we have nor holding on to any observation. We are simply just observing. And we are also observing our emotions. We are neither pushing away our emotions nor are we holding on to our emotions. This is a very good skill that can help people that are also having issues with anxiety, especially in public places. So what we're doing when we're using the observe skill is we are simply noticing the way that we are feeling, but we are not putting any labels on it. No judgments, no nothing. We are simply observing what we are doing. And so the next skill that we have is what is called the describe skill. When we are using the describe skill to be mindful, what we are doing is we are now putting labels on things. And we're noticing what we're feeling and putting a label on that feeling. What that looks like is we're not going to say to ourselves, I am anxious anymore. When we are using DBT mindfulness skills, what we are now saying is, I notice the sensation of anxiety within me. The reason that we do that is we no longer want to say we are anxious, because that makes it an inherent quality in us as opposed to a temporary state or feeling. So when we're using DBT, what we're really trying to do is understand that we are part of this world, that our feelings and our sensations pass. They don't stick with us forever. And what we can't tolerate forever, we can tolerate for a single moment in time. That's why with DBT, it is very mindful. Mindful is in the moment. So we are using our describe skill in order to feel, to label what we're feeling as a feeling, as opposed to us being that way. And when we're using our describe skill, our describe mindfulness skill, we are only using our senses. So if we cannot see it, taste it, feel it, hear it, or see it, it does not belong in an observation. We are not looking for intentions behind the things that we're observing. We're not giving them any values or judgments. All we are doing is simply observing it. And we're only observing what we can, once again, see, hear, feel, taste, and touch. If we cannot do those things, we cannot say that we are observing it. One of the examples that good old Marsha Lenehan gives is hearing birds in a forest. When we're walking through the forest, we would hear chirp, chirp, chirp. That's the observation. We would say we are hearing chirping. If we go about saying we hear birds chirping without seeing those birds chirp, we're no longer practicing the mindfulness skill of describe. We have then said something that we could not see. We took previous information that we had, that birds chirp, and made it into what we think we heard, which is birds chirping. All we can definitively say when we're using the observe skill for mindfulness is that we heard chirping. Where it came from, we don't know, because we didn't observe it. We did not see the birds. So that's one of the things that we do in using the describe skill, is that we are only concentrating on what we can use with our senses. Like I also said, is we are not giving any judgments to anything. We are not pushing anything aside. We are not getting rid of any of the observations that we're having. All we are doing is observing. And so what that means is that we don't sit there and we don't say, well, I don't like that. I don't want to observe that. I don't like this feeling. It's not a good feeling. All we are doing when we're using the observe skill is observing it and leaving all the rest of it out of the equation. So we would just say, I observe a tightness in my stomach. I observe a feeling of anxiety enveloping me. Things along those lines. So that's the describe skill. Now, the last skill that is part of this right here is the participate skill. And when we do the participate skill, what we are doing is when we are walking, we are walking. When we are washing dishes, we are washing dishes. When we are dancing, we are dancing. We participate in that moment 100%. We don't think about tomorrow. We don't think about yesterday. We concentrate on what we are doing. So if we are washing the dishes, we concentrate on the way that the soap feels, the way that the suds feel, the color of the suds, the way that the sponge feels in your hand, the rhythmic motion of cleaning the plate. So there is no thinking about anything else but the activity that we're doing. And what Marsha also says is when we are doing our behavior that we're doing it wholeheartedly in the moment without thinking much about it. We're just participating and going with flow. So those are the 3 skills right there. And what Marsha, one of the examples that she gives about why mindfulness is so important is a lot of us, when we're unhappy with our lives, we choose to kind of close our eyes to the world. And mindfulness makes us open our eyes to the world, no matter how uncomfortable it is. The way that she says about it is you can walk through this world. You can pretend like you have a whole living room filled with very ugly furniture. Because you close your eyes doesn't mean that the ugly furniture no longer exists. You now still have ugly furniture, but you also have your eyes closed and you can't even notice what needs to be changed in your environment. When you're living mindfully with your eyes wide open and acknowledgement of your reality, you're able to observe everything that's going on. And with those eyes wide open, you can make decisions. You can sit there and say, yes, my living room furniture is very ugly. And now I'm noticing that this needs to change and that needs to change. Or this situation right here is something unbearable. What mindfulness also does is it allows us to understand our connection to everything in this world. This is something that's practiced with a lot of the Eastern religions, where there's an understanding that all of us are connected, that there is no you, there is no me, that the whole world is connected. And one of the examples that they give in order to have this mindfulness experience is to sit back and think that the chair that I'm sitting in is connected. I'm connected to the chair that I'm sitting in. The 4 feet of the chair are connected to the floor. The floor is connected to the floor out to the kitchen, and it goes all the way out. That floor goes all the way out to the front stoop, and then it connects to the front stoop, and then it connects to the road. And the whole thing is this road, everything that flows, all flows together and eventually winds up right with you, with your feet on the floor. Or if your feet are up and you're sitting cross-legged on the chair, all of it is connected. So in some weird kind of strange way, I connected. And it is with this mindfulness, with this appreciation that all of us are connected, that we have a deeper understanding of who we are, our place in this world, that we have a rightful place to exist in this world. And mindfulness teaches us all about our place and how to go about feeling this connection. And this connection allows us to feel not so alone, and it allows us to make decisions that are more effective for our lives. So, in my next video, I'm going to go over more about the DBT mindfulness skills, and we're going to go over the what skills, I apologize. Today was the what skills. We're going to go over the how skills, and those are 3 more of those. And we're going to go over a little bit more about the whole HIPAA thing, of like all of us being connected, and how this really helps with our mental health and our ability to function in this world. If you like this video, once again, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, please go ahead and write them in the comments. Like I said, now that life has settled down a little bit and good old Waldo is stable and enjoying his good old Waldo life, the videos should be coming at a more consistent frequency. Hopefully everything is going well in all y'all's lives. Take care.